mofo. Good morning, Mark's kind of recording. What's up, everybody? Come on in. What's up? D Martini in the chat. A couple of dicks in there. A couple of dicks roaming around in the chat. Swampy. What? Swampy. Put that motherfucker down. What's up, man? What's up? Good morning, everybody. We got a very, very special guest today. Standing by right now. Chris Conwell is out in D.C. trying to avoid getting his ass kicked while he's getting some footage, which is often quite difficult in this day and age, right? Because a lot of dicks, people trying to kick your ass while all you're doing is holding the camera, man. This is morning music, baby. Morning music. Love it. All right, so there you go. Wow. So here we are. So we got our good friend Chris Conwell is down in Washington D.C. right now, and he's standing by right now. He's going to tell us all about. We're going to look at some of his videos, and he's going to tell us all about some of the shenanigans that are going on in D.C. Is the movement, the Antifa Black Lives Matter movement, fizzling out? Is it falling apart? Is it stronger than ever, or is it being ultra radicalized? Which it seems to be, in my view, and we'll check with Chris. It seems like it's fragmenting. It seems like it's fragmenting into very radical parts. Like you got the black Jews, the Muslim black Jews are down there, and you got you got a couple of flag stampers and a couple of radicals like prim and proper white girls saying Black Lives Matter and all that shit, right? All that shit going on. But before we do that, let's become a Patreon of this channel. What's up, Chris? Chris is in the background. I hear him barking. Hold on, stand by, Chris. We're almost there. You're not in the frame yet. Just stand by. So we're gonna do if you're watching this, become a contributor of the channel, PayPal, one-time contribution, or become a monthly sponsor by PayPal, by Patreon. Excuse me. It's been a rough morning, man. It's fucking hot. It's still hot in New York, man. It's hot. Shit goes astray. So let's bring Chris in. My brother from a different mother. Chris is live. What's up, Chris? How are you, man?
Hey, Marcus. What's going on, man?
I'm chilling like Bob Dylan. Thanks for joining me. And you're down in D.C. What are you? It looks like you're on the side of the road somewhere. You're like hiding out, man. Where are you right now? Where's
I'm in the Courtyard Motel. Right. Yeah, after what happened last night, I had to hide out for a while. So.
Right. Yeah. Definitely low profile. You know what it is about those guys? They don't really have much of a memory, and this might sound racist, but to them, all white people look the same. Because I've infiltrated the crowds a couple of times, and I've gotten right up in their face. Motherfucker, right in their face, and an hour later, they don't even recognize you. Or I ride by on the bike and I wave to them, and they're like, fuck you. So they're not. I hear what you're saying, but we'll talk about your situation. So we'll talk about that in a second. Let's watch some of the videos. So again, Chris is down right now in D.C. and he is. I want to show you some of his videos. He caught some of this. Let's watch a little bit of it. I'm going to show the there's the beginning of it. Let's just watch it.
37 days consecutively, 37 days straight. Like I said, the police done picked us about 4 or 5 times, took everything.
It took everything.
And we damn sure not scared of no police that's coming through here.
All them bullshit ass protesters charges.
So we got some. This is kind of
Fuck them dumb ass protesters.
typical of what you see. It looks like a rally. It looks like a very thin crowd.
Outside
Maybe less than 100 people. When they were here in New York, there was several thousand.
About 5 weeks where they took all our
So-
medical supplies, all our tents, all
So
our
he's
things,
complaining.
all our
He's
food,
complaining that
everything.
the police took his stuff.
The next day, every time.
Let's see what else we got.
Nowhere. We're gonna be out here all weekend. Tell your friends, tell a friend.
So he's telling
We gonna be out
his
here all
crowd.
weekend. We occupying
We're
AC.
seeing the tents. They're setting up tents out in the middle of the street over here.
We are occupying this. We are not going in.
It's great. So how's the temperature over there in DC? Is it hot? Is it hot right now, Chris?
It's about I'd say it's about 90 degrees right now. It's going to get like 92, 93 today. It's going to be hot again.
And these clowns are setting up tents on the hot pavement, it looks like.
Yeah, you would have thought they would have put a tarp down or something to cover over the pavement, but no, not these guys.
And they're right out in the middle of the street. It looks like the police are in the background, standing down. So this is typical. This is what, I guess they're a little more lenient in D.C. In New York, they were, once the crowd stopped, the police were surrounding them. So it's really kind of, I would call this one, I would say this is kind of uneventful at this point, that one. Let's see what else we got here. So,
Okay, so here we are back again, down on the block.
I'm showing the one where
And
you're
as
walking,
you saw,
talking a
there was
little bit.
just a group of probably maybe 50, 75. They just walked through and came this direction here. So let's go see if maybe any of them will talk.
So it's just, I mean, it's classic ghetto, sitting on the pavement, they have helmets on. You didn't see any heads crack, right? No heads cracking?
No, it was more of like a block party atmosphere. It wasn't like what you had in New York City where people are going through crashing windows, anything like that. Now, last night, after about 11 o'clock, it turns different. It's almost like there's a totally different group of people there.
Right, I know what you mean. It's, so tell the story. So 4 cops, you're in the crowd, and 4 cops. Well, tell us what happened. Tell us what happened when you were in the crowd. You're filming. They kind of ID you. The radicals ID you, and then what happened?
Well, at the beginning, I made the call that I wasn't going to narrate. I wasn't going to ask any questions because, I've had seen people in the past that just, nobody wants to be videotaped, and then it just gets into a confrontation. So I'm just holding the camera. I was recording everything, and all of a sudden I get these 6 cops come up to me, and they said, "Hey, you need to come with us." And so and they start walking me out of the area, and we get further and further away.
Breaking up a little bit, Chris.
We're following it.
Check out this sign here.
They were going to jump you and take your stuff. Are we still on?
Yeah, we're still on. You're kind of freezing a little bit. You're freezing and breaking up a little bit.
For everybody staying overnight, everything will be taken care of.
Not sure what's going on.
Any assistance.
Are you still there, Chris?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, I can hear you loud and clear. It seems like your frame has frozen a little bit. I tell you, this technology, boy, it's supposed to make your life easier. So anyway, so 6 cops. I can still hear you. Let's walk through it. I know people watch the video. So So 6 cops, they come in, and what? And then they told you what? You're about to get your ass kicked, and we're going to help you get out of here. Is that what they told you?
Yeah, and I'm assuming that they got undercovers walking all through there. And because if you saw the one video, the cops were all in the very far corner up by the Lafayette Square, the fence for Lafayette Square.
Okay.
And where they had caught me at was all the way down about 3 blocks away from where any of the cops are standing. There were a few cops in cars, but there were no cops standing around there. So they had to have had somebody come up and tell them. I was appreciative. I said, thanks, for getting me out of there. And he said, well, we recommend you don't come back and record these people. They're upset. But I took it from when I was there a few hours earlier, the girl who had got upset that I was videotaping her. She was one of the tent people that were on the side, and she had said, I don't give you permission to videotape me. And I said, that's fine. You don't have to give me permission. You're in public. And she said, well, I only give black media permission to videotape me. And I said, oh, so you're racist. And it kind of kicked off. And at that time, I was leaving anyway, so I turned around and walked out. But they may have short memories, but as far as 3 hours go, it might not be that short.
Right. Yeah, they definitely. It sounds like what it sounds like to me. I'm playing the shot of the Israeli blacks right now, and it sounds like they have. It would be ignorant to think that the police have not infiltrated these crowds. They have a lot of the people walking around in the crowd are actually undercover cops, and they're probably overheard. They're looking at you. You're looking a little shady. You're filming them. You're not interacting, and then they decided that they were going to come over there and smack the camera out of your head, off your out of your hand, and the police intervene. So they help you out. There's the police. There's your taxpayer money working for you. So what about this? I think the most interesting one is the dancing on the flag. I'll play that in a second. But is the black Jews, the Israelite Jews, who are all black, who are, I don't know, in my view, some of the most racist people I've ever met. I've seen them in Times Square. I've seen them throughout New York, and they're not negotiating.
Yeah.
Say again?
Yeah, they're horrible. They're horrible people.
Yeah. And on looking, they're all black. These are all blacks. No whites allowed. And so that's what I was trying to say about the fragmenting. Did you see that? Did you see unity? Are you seeing unity, Chris? Are they all together, loving, and trying to move the ball forward?
I thought that I had sent you that clip of when they were standing on the American flag. The one girl had got up and she was talking.
I got it.
We can't have.
I got it. I'll play it in a second. I'm just showing the Israelis. I got it. I'm going down the list. Go ahead.
But that's essentially what she says is we cannot have unity when there's racism in America. They have to stand with themselves. So really what they're wanting to do is segregate society again. And then they think that that's going to help their cause to get them more power. And what it's really doing, Marcus, is just like you've said. It's the top 1% trying to separate us, divide us, and conquer us. And they're feeding and playing right into the game.
Right. So I got the video up now. The girl with her mask on. She's standing on the flag. I saw other clips. I don't know if you got it all, but there was other clips where people were being invited to come in and step on the flag. That's fucking foul. Pretty foul. Right out in the middle of the street. It definitely has a very thin kind of street fair, street fair kind of feel right now in the daytime, and you're right. That was my observation, that the breaking starts late at night. They come out of nowhere. It does seem like a different crowd, the agitators. So. Yeah, that's what's interesting about the stomping flag. I just noticed something on the freezer right there. The signs are a very, very familiar sign here in New York. The Trump Pence Out Now signs, and the black sign, the black and white print as well with the cardboard. You see that a lot. Those guys, those are paid agitators. Those guys are. they were here for Trump's. What was it? I think it was one of the times where Trump spoke. He spoke on 23rd Street. He came here. I think it was Veterans Day. And I had a run-in with those characters. So watch for those signs that say Trump Pence out now. They're orange with black print. And that's who's standing on the flag right now. I just noticed it.
Yep.
It says, I don't know, rebel something. Rise up. Hold on a second. Let's just get it right. Let's get it right. I want to see what it says. It says, refusefascism.org. I think that's what it says. Yeah, refusefascism.org. And that's the black and orange. Those are common agitators. I've seen them before. Again, street fair. Lots of tents. Yeah, it's the same crew. It's the same crew here in New York. The free stuff. They got all the. Oh, here's the Trump, the dick guy, the Trump dick.
Besides the Russians telling on him, there's a reason I know it. When you devote your life to truth telling,
it's good stuff, Chris. It's
all
good,
the lies around you
it's
start to
good
die.
documentary kind of stuff. I think people, unfortunately, people like the violence and the graffiti and the fucking breaking shit.
And all the liars tell
Sometimes
themselves.
right, this is what you get, right? Sometimes you get
And
what
when
you
the most evil of the evil
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
it's actually
unless
you,
you go over there and instigate, which is,
they believe you're actually Jesus Christ, they confess.
it's like
Every single little
poking
thing
the
they've
nest,
done.
right? You got to go over there and say, hey, listen, you cocksucker, listen, fucking Dick Trump, hey, Trump Dick. You got to poke them.
It's just to see
Good
the look on your
judgment
face.
day. Good judgment day. Antichrist Trump.
Until they recognize the wrath in your face.
It's like a cesspool, you know.
I know you're me,
It's like a cesspool of
righteous wrath.
humanity.
and I'm going to save you from your stupid self. I'm going to save you from your so stupid self.
You get chased out, but this guy sits on the floor
That's why no love kicks ass.
and they love him and they hate you.
Yeah.
Love doesn't just stand there.
And I was interacting when the camera wasn't on. I was going up to the booths,
because
and interacting with the people that were selling their stuff there and talking to them, and so it wasn't like I was just walking through like a undercover cop videotaping them without saying anything.
Yeah.
It was just the crowd totally changed after dark. It was the families went home,
Yep.
and the riffraff came out. And I was actually there. I wanted to tell you this. I was there, and I was talking to a black man, and he had probably about a 7 or 8 year old little boy there. And these people came through chanting Black Lives Matter, Black Power, Black Lives Matter. And the little boy actually started to repeat it. And his father and his grandfather grabbed him up real quick and said, "No, you don't say that." So,
Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
I just thought, that was very interesting.
I wonder if I do see a divide between the older black generation and the younger black generation. The older blacks seem to frown on the whole idea of white people chanting Black Lives Matter. They think it's a ploy. They think it's bullshit. They think it's some kind of I don't know what they think, but there is definitely, you can sense a divide between older blacks and younger blacks, and the younger blacks seem to be angry at the older blacks because they're not down with the program. So I hear that with the friction. Right? Definitely a lot of friction. Let's see. I think there's another. I think we got one more clip. Oh, this is a nice walkthrough you did of the Lincoln Monument. It's interesting because at the Lincoln Monument is where the Covington kids were. Remember the Covington? That's where they had their issues with the black Israelites. Remember, right on these, we're looking at the steps right now leading up to Lincoln Monument, and the black Israelites were irate at the young white boys, young white men and women and kids who were visiting D.C. because of they were there on an anti-abortion conference of some sort. They were anti-abortion and they wanted to have their voices heard. They went to D.C. in busloads. They were on the steps and they ran into those black Israelites where they were screamed at. So it's good to see the Lincoln Monument at least not dealing with that. How is it, I want to ask you, Chris, how is D.C. without the tourists? Because I think what you're seeing, historically, you got all kinds of tourists, European tourists, not just local tourists, not just Americans, but you see all kinds of foreigners all over the place. How was it like to walk around? It's all Americans, right? Because there's no real international flight of tourism right now.
No. I mean, yeah, it's all Americans, but I was shocked at the diversity of people who were there. Now, the crowds are definitely not as big as they usually are. The crowd on the mall for the fireworks last night may have been a third of what it ever is. But as far as seeing, the diverse amount of people there, I was kind of shocked. I was really just expecting what you just said, but no, it wasn't like that. There was lots of different people there.
Yeah. It's kind of beautiful, though. I mean, it looks the monument in the daytime is kind of cool. So you don't think that the Black Lives Matter Antifa stuff is overshadowing the good holiday, the good 4th of July holiday in D.C.? Did it seem like it was overpowering everything, or did it seem like it was in the background?
The only thing that rally and them setting up right across on the south lawn of right over by Lafayette Square is obviously they closed Lafayette Square down, so you can't get in there. And they've essentially put a fence around the White House, I'd say about a 4 or 5 block radius. Where you normally would be able to go, you cannot go. The Washington Monument has about a 50-yard fence around it, so you can't go up to it. And most of the monuments and statues have fences around them where you can't go up to them. So I think that for people who wanted to come here for the experience of Washington, D.C., then it definitely hampered that just a little bit. But as far as where those people are on the tents and where they're set up, that's on the south side of the White House. So the whole mall, they really weren't even on the mall at all. Even when the fireworks were happening and everyone was there, they still stayed over about 6 blocks away over by the White House.
Right. Interesting. So there's no real crossover between the. What does it seem like with the people visiting, the regular people, if there is such a thing, the normal people interacting with the Black Lives Matter Antifa? They're not really down with that, right? They're just there to kind of show their respect and be in D.C. for the holiday and watch the fireworks. Did you talk to any of those people? Any of the regular people, like the real people, like what they think?
I talked to a couple groups that were obviously Trump supporters. Had the flags out on the mall yesterday, and a big biker group, guys on bikes, and they said that since they had showed up, and they were a group of about 150, 200 guys, and they were right on the corner of the I would be the reflecting pond that leads up to the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah, right.
And so they said that they had that one protest that was about maybe 75 or 100 people walking down the street with signs, and as soon as they got to them, those people turned and went right on the block and went back up to where all the tents were. So they didn't want no problems with the bikers, I'm sure.
Right. Because most of them are pretty much cowards when confronted with a equal but opposite reaction. They're pretty much cowards. I mean, I put up a video. They chased the naked cowboy. The naked fucking cowboy got chased out of their little crowd. They are. They're cowards. So is it fizzling out, or you think it's I guess my view is that it's kind of fizzling out. Would you agree? You think it's fizzling out, or you think it's picking up, or it's just waiting for the next wave?
It's definitely fizzling out. I mean, they're going to need something else in order to get it to keep going, because I'd say after this weekend, we're not going to see much of them anymore. The next 3 or 4 months is just going to be all about the election. They're not going to even be an issue about it.
Right. People are saying in the chat that it's nice to see Lincoln is not desecrated. They haven't graffitied the monument whatsoever. Yeah. I mean,
They had with M16s up there at the top too. So
say it again.
there were 2 federal police officers with the M16s up at the top.
Perfect.
So.
Right. It's just, are you noticing walking around D.C., is there graffiti all over the place, smashed windows like here in New York? Well, not really.
There's one block, which would be right in between Pennsylvania and Constitution, where obviously a couple weeks ago they walked up and all the windows are boarded up. But other than that, you'll see graffiti where it was painted on the stone, and just like you had said, that it seeps into the stone. You talked to someone, said it seeps in there.
Yeah.
It's been cleaned off, but you can still see the shadow of it on the side of the stone buildings. And but other than that, no, it's nothing like New York.
You're freezing up. Freezing up, Chris? Chris is frozen. Chris is frozen in time. Just wait till he unfreezes. You just froze up in time. You froze up when you were saying about the shadows. The shadow. You can hear me, right? You hear me, Chris? Can you hear me, Chris? Hey, Chris, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Chris? Can you hear me? I think Chris went dead. Hey, Chris, are you still there? We see Chris, but we don't hear Chris. I can't hear you, Chris. I can't hear you. I think he hit a button over there. I think he hit some kind of crazy button. I can't hear you. I can hear you. I can't hear you. Let's see. Yeah, Chris is dropping out. Chris is dropping. Hey, Chris, are you there?
Yeah, I think it's about. Am I back on?
I hear your voice, but I don't see your face now. Hit your little icon, your camera icon. You dropped out before. Maybe your phone is heating up or something. Thanks for the report, though. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff, man. Keep plugging away. Keep plugging away, and you know what I mean? Can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, so I see your icon. We can hear you. We hear you fine. I think I just wanted to say about the monuments. As long as they get the guys that I talked to here in New York, there's actually 2 teams, 2 teams that deal with graffiti. There's one team deals with just the run-of-the-mill, spray painting on the side of a wall or something, a common wall, and then there's another team that just deals with monuments, because it's a different approach. Because the stone is like a couple of 100 years old sometimes, or 100 years old, and they don't go too deep. Right, so those you see what they call skeletons. They say like it fades. You could still read it, but over like in a month or a week or whatever, it falls off, or it starts to fall off. They don't dig into the stone. But he did tell me the longer that paint sits on there, especially on the stone, the deeper it goes. So anyway, Chris. All right, Chris, are you there? Are you there? Is Chris there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, cool. So what else, man? What else you got for us, man? What do you plan to do? What's your? I can't see you. I only see your icon. You want to try to?
Yeah, I shut the camera off because it was freezing up too much.
Okay, there you go. All right, so we got your audio. So what's on the agenda today? What are you looking to do today?
Well, I'm going to head back out there and see if they're all just going back home, or if they're gonna stay even past Sunday. So I'm gonna be here a couple more days, and then I'm just gonna hit up museums and things like that to get my vacation in. So
yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Yeah. So uneventful, but really eventful. That the unevent is the event, and in the report is that it's fizzling out, man. The shit is right. Shit is fizzling out. Chris's phone is fizzling out. All right, man. So, Chris, if you're still there, Are you still there? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, cool. All right. All right. It seems like it's breaking up. All right. So what else you got for us, man? What else can you tell us about DC? Do you think that do you think, let me ask you this. Do you think that the police were being truthful in that you were about to get your ass kicked, or do you think that that was just a ploy to get you moving along? Well, what's your impression of that one? 'Cause that's pretty heavy.
I would say they were being truthful. I mean, I've had my fair share of interaction with law enforcement on the good and bad side throughout my life, and I think what they were telling me was, they were being truthful. They were trying to get me out of there. The fact that they walked me about 5 or 6 blocks out before they even told me what was going on, that's a lot.
Right.
Instead of just coming up to me and telling me to get out of there.
Right.
But so that tells me a lot there. But I mean, the cops deserve a lot of respect. You didn't see any of the videos there where the people were coming up and talking shit to the cops, telling them they were going to kill them, calling them pigs.
Right.
Which cops hear that every day, but they even, I mean, these are guys that are making $35,000-$40,000 a year. So, and they got to put up with that crap just because their mayor told them to, so
Right.
I don't know.
So I'm at your site right now. So if people want to subscribe to Chris's site, go to Truth and Politics and hit the subscribe button over there. He's got a bunch of videos up. I'm sure you're going to put up a lot of these videos that you send me, right? Pretty much get them up there so people can watch them on their own. Is that the idea?
Yep.
Cool. All right, Chris. Thanks so much for joining us, man. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your effort, and thanks for thinking of me and us over here to give us a first glimpse of your videos. And of course, if you get any ass kicking or face macing or fucking stamping, do let us know because that shit is interesting, man.
Yeah, you're the first guy I send it to, Marcus. Trust me.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
It's a pleasure, man.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Chris. I'm gonna kill it right now. Thanks, mate.
Yep.
Peace. Chris Conwell, man. Oh, fucking dude. So we got a little exclusive footage right there. What's up, everybody in the chat? Thank you very much for joining me, man. We had a little technical glitch getting into that. Vinny DiMartini is on the wrench. Pyramid 7. Thank you guys. Jolly Bridge Burner. Thank you very much for being here. And yeah, it's actually kind of slow in YouTubeville. Chris Milk is here. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. Harkview Cinema. It's almost Monday. Are we going to do the Monday thing? Are we going to do the hangout, the Monday hangout thing? Because I'm interested, man. I'm definitely interested in that shit. So thanks for joining me. I'm going to kill it right here. There's not much more to talk about. I thought that was very interesting. I thought that my gut impression of what Chris is seeing is kind of the playing out, the fizzling out, the division, the dividing of the message. Right? Because you got the Israeli blacks angry as hell. They're the same. They're just joining the movement. You got Black Lives Matter, who used to be very loving, caring blacks that loved everyone and they wanted to, stop the violence against blacks. You got those in there. You got the blinded whites that think that they're somehow guilty. I'm guilty. I suffer from white privilege. We got all those sprinkled in. The young white girls think that they have to let blacks speak for them and blacks don't have a voice and all this stuff. Does anybody remember that, I don't know, was it like 2008, 2016, in that time frame that we had a black president, a African American, a man who identified as an African American with an African American wife and 2 African American children, where the president occupied the White House? Does anybody remember that? What happened? What happened in that era? What happened during that time? Why is that all it's about? Replace whites with blacks, and the problem will be solved. It seems, right? To some, not to all. I'm playing them very small right now, but to some, that is the overall message. Just get rid of the whites and replace them with blacks, and everything will be fine. But you already had your black president. You've had, I don't know how many black congressmen, black senators, black black cops, black this, black that. Open your fucking eyes. It's a diverse country for the most part. We don't have, for the most part, in jails. Jails are predominantly black. 80% of jail populations, at least where I am, is 80-90% black. Truth. Walk through the projects, the low-income housing, walk through a welfare office, walk through the food stamp office. It's mostly blacks. It's mostly black and minority. And that is a fucking problem. Right? Why is that the problem? Is that the white man's fault? I don't know. It brings up a lot of those issues, I think. I think when you see a movement like this, you have to concede some sort of opinion to them. But the opinion I don't concede is that somehow, because I'm white, I'm born with a privilege that they don't have. I just fundamentally disagree with that. I think that if you think white people are competitive over blacks, I mean, whites are just as competitive. They're humans, just as competitive amongst each other, is what I'm trying to say. So what is the real message? See, when I see, I like that. I agree that taking down the police state is definitely the way to go. But when we start seeing the message that eat the rich, that the 99% of us are all in the same boat, and that 1% over there that's running the show is really, really the enemy, consolidating the target, consolidating all our energies, right? All of us coming together and targeting the enemy, which is the oligarchy, which is the monopoly, which is the political class, the billionaire class. And they are, in fact, protected by police. That's true. I never really gave that much thought. I never gave that much, time until now. And now I see that. I see that the rebels are right in taking down the police state. But when you have a handful of people and they're pointing at whites, see all those people that support Trump, they're all racist, is just fundamentally fucking wrong. Is a flawed. It's not bringing people together. It's dividing people. That's absolutely true. When you smash the windows in the deep of the night in New York City or in D.C. and crash their windows down, the oligarchs crash down their beautiful fucking expensive retail stores and banks and restaurants, and you break their windows and you break their shit. And they come crawling. They come crawling on their knees, right? That's a good thing. That's a good target, because those are the people that are really fucking with you, really messing with you. Right? And they're taking advantage of a fake fucking virus thing. You know what I'm saying, man? So anyway, thanks for joining me today, man. It's just it's very hot, and I'm gonna kill it here. I keep saying that, so I better get an air conditioner. Fucking Conte, get an air conditioner. Thank you, Chris Conwell, for joining me today. Church of Politics. Thanks everybody in the chat. Still regular.